everybody. Welcome to the Pita Party, the podcast with Daisy. Hi, Daisy.
Morning. Well, it's
morning.
Afternoon
Night
for
for
you.
me.
Morning for me.
Today we're going to be talking about being ghosted and being stood up and crazy relationship stories. We have quite a few, Daisy, don't we?
Yeah, well, we got inspired by this because of my drama series, and a girl wrote in on her first date ever. She got stood up, and I'm just like, I couldn't even imagine doing that to somebody else.
No.
Like, it's insane. And yeah, obviously nowadays ghosting is such a big trend.
Like, even when I don't want to go somewhere, if I made a plan with people, I will go. I will show up. I hate, like, stooding people up or being stood up, obviously. It's just horrible. It's just you have to be a terrible person to do that.
I'm the exact same as you. Like, being late even gives me anxiety. Being late, like cancelling last minute, I just couldn't.
Oh, I hate it.
Even if I was so sick, I wouldn't even dream of, let alone doing that to I couldn't even think of it.
Well, I had to say, having a baby, I'd done that once. And I used Lily as an excuse for canceling last minute. I felt really, really bad, but I was so tired. Lily was fine, but I said, I was like, oh, Lily's really screaming today. She doesn't stop, so I don't think I can go. And Lily was just chilling, looking at me.
I think you can do it like the odd time. I definitely don't think it makes you the worst person in the world if, you know, once in a while you do it. You know, everyone has done it once upon a time, especially with friends or a family thing, kind of last minute. But the idea of standing someone up or ghosting someone, I don't actually think I've ever been ghosted, but I've definitely been blocked several times.
I'll tell you my ghosted story then.
Yeah.
So, growing up, right, I didn't used to go out. I didn't used to date much. I always had serious relationships. So when I left Brazil to work on a cruise ship first and then to live in Dubai to work for Emirates, I dated a lot. Not ashamed. Lived my life. But I was dating this guy. It was my first year in Dubai. I was like 22. And he was so beautiful. Like, he wasn't handsome. He was beautiful. He was like a sculpture. He had such blue eyes, and he was tall, and his muscles were like perfect, and his height was perfect. Everything about him was perfect. He was a cabin crew as well. He was a flight attendant. And obviously me, 22, stupid. He was like, oh my God, this is so special. I've never met anybody like you. This is amazing. Our souls match. And, you know, like all the bullshit.
All the bullshit.
And I was like, oh my God, this is so beautiful. Maybe I found the one. Or oh, so stupid. And it was like that, beautiful.
Where was he from?
He was from, can't remember if it was Croatia.
Okay.
Or one of those countries. I can't remember. Eastern European. I don't even know if Croatia is Eastern Europe, but
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. But he was amazing. But it was funny because we only meet at his apartment. We would never meet outside. I don't even remember how we met first. But then one day I was like, hey, I think we should go out for dinner or something. And he was like, well, no, I know about you. This is not going to work. And then he blocked me. He blocked me on Facebook, on back in the day it was BBM from BlackBerry. He blocked me everywhere. And I never heard from him again.
You never find out what he heard about you?
I had no idea what he was talking about. And I never heard from him again. Couldn't find him again. And it was just like that. I was like, what?
Do you have any
imagine all that?
Do you have any theories? Do you think like he had a girlfriend or?
I think he must have. But the funniest part is, so I stayed in Dubai for 2.5 years. And on my last month in Dubai, I was in a club and I saw him and he saw me and he literally came to me to give me a hug. And I just looked at him. I was like, I stepped back. I was like, I'm not getting a hug from you. Are you out of your mind? And he was like, oh, hi. And I was like, nah, sorry, nah. And I just walked away.
And were you upset with what happened? Or did you just like,
Yeah,
whatever?
because I really liked him. Like, you know, before he blocked me, obviously. And I was like, oh, this is really nice. You know, he makes me feel so special and all that shit. And yeah, and I was just like so baffled. Like my mind was blown. I had no idea what happened. I don't know like what was wrong with him.
I think, you know, it's funny when these things, obviously you got like no information whatsoever, but I always, whenever I break up with someone, or they usually break up with me, I'm always like, I have to know. And you know, you never get an answer. Even if he told you something, it's still never good enough, because yeah, it's just funny how obviously that happened to you, and you have no idea, but I honestly think you'd never be satisfied with whatever answer you got. So they kind of just doing you a favor. That's the way I feel. At least with the guys that blocked me, I was like, do you know what? You were just ending something that I was never going to end. Because I was always feeling like, why? I don't understand. So yeah, it's pretty awful.
Yeah, I have so many breakup stories. So I have this one. I'm gonna let you talk, Daisy, I promise.
No, I love this. I barely date, so I have so few stories. I just have 3 people who blocked me, and that's my dating history. So I'm fine with it.
When I let it go, I let go. Like, I don't care if you come back after me. I don't care what you do, but I always give a chance. So when my Irish boyfriend actually, when he broke up with me, we were about to join a boat together, and he broke up with me, and I was leaving the following week to go to France to join a boat. So I gave him the whole week. I was like, I'll give you a few days. And the last couple of days, I was like, are you sure? Because, you know, once I leave, this is not gonna happen again, blah, blah, blah. And he was like, do you know how I'm sure that this is the right decision? And I was like, how? And he said, when we broke up, I felt relief. I felt so relieved that we broke up. And I was like, oh, okay. So I guess that is over.
My God.
We were together for 2.5 years, by the way.
Do you know what? Like, sometimes I think in relationships it's cruel to be kind, and I often tell people that, and as much as that actually hurts me, him saying that to you, and I don't even know this person. But you would have kept asking. If he kept bullshitting you, saying like, it's not you, it's me, or it's just not the right time, you know that these answers are bullshit. And you know that really there's something deeper there that's going to hurt you. So as much as that is honestly so cruel, at least it let you kind of just move on and go, okay, yeah, he...
No, after that I was like, yeah, definitely there is nothing else there. So,
what were you what was it, just arguing, or
no, that was, well, I mean, you saw a little bit on the show. I am a bit crazy, and I might have a drinking problem, so but I was quite bad. I was quite bad to him, to be honest. He endured a long time.
Okay, so you fight when you were drinking.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
When I wasn't drinking, we were fine. Like, I didn't see the breaking up coming at all. I didn't think we were going to break up. But when I think back, I was like, oh, poor guy. He's been through a lot.
But did he communicate with you that, like, that was an issue?
No. That's the thing. That's one thing I told him after. I was like, I wish you had told me when things were happening. Because he told me that he felt like it was over about 6 months before he broke up.
You have no idea. If you don't tell someone or ask someone to change or see if they're willing to. I think this is like problem with so many things. Nobody communicates with anything, and you're like, I had no idea how you were feeling that way. And it's scary because you spend every day with this person. You share a bed with them, you talk to them 24/7, and then you're like, what the fuck? This was an issue. You're like, well, I didn't know.
I know. And I told him, and I was like, wow, I wish you had told me before so we could maybe have worked it out or have done something. But I was terrible. I remember once we were in Monaco during summer. I had a day off from my boat, had a day off from his boat. And he took me to this nice restaurant. And we were already fighting. I can't remember why. But then I got drunk really quick. And in the middle of the restaurant, while we were sitting down, I started going off and I started making like a massive scene. And I was going like, look at that woman. Why is she looking? Why are you looking at me? You're horrible, blah, blah, blah. I was like, it was like, I would have broken up with me then. I don't know how he didn't.
Oh.
So I understand why he broke up with me.
Well, that's good. I mean, that's, you know, I think we always, after we break up, we can take time and reflect and say, I mean, I can say that with all of my partners, be like, yeah, okay, fair enough. Well, no, they kind of drove me to being crazy, but that must have been hard hearing that, though, like relief to be out of someone's life. I mean, which I'm sure my exes felt the same, but like I said, sometimes it's cruel to be kind and kind of allows you to go, okay, this is not gonna work.
I can tell you another story, but I want to hear why you got blocked first.
Oh my god, I've gotten blocked so many times, but mainly from guys that I've dated, and again, just kind of what I explained, nothing bad. So like, no one like I just met, or no one who hasn't kind of explained to me, but guys that I just won't let it go. Like, they're trying to break up with me and I cannot understand it. And the more I can't understand, the crazier I get. So like virtual stalking. But I'm so out of my mind. And also these guys, I have to say, like all of them, I think I've been blocked twice. Blocked from twice and like ignored by another. But I have to say that these guys, like, they drove me to being crazy. We talked about this earlier, like, they gaslighted me. They, you know, they were all cheating on me. They all had, like, you know, different lives going on. I never explained, so nothing made sense to me. Whereas, like, now I know that they had different lives going on, and this was their easiest way of getting rid of me. But the blocking thing, yeah, I probably deserved it. And I honestly, because I just couldn't understand, because they were living a different life. And instead of just saying, Daisy, I've been cheating on you this whole time, you actually meant very little to me, I would understand it. I'd be like, oh, okay, that makes sense. See you later.
Yeah.
But they didn't. They would say this whole thing of like, I care about you, but we just can't be together. So that to me is so confusing. So the more they said this, the crazier I would go. And the more I'd need more answers, because I know what they're saying to me isn't real. Like, how can you say, oh, you care about me, but there's just no future? So the more I needed an answer, the more I would stalk them. And then they blocked me. But I'm friends with all of them now. And yeah, as much as they were assholes, they also did the best thing by me as well. Like, I've even got people in my life now where I'm like, I would just rather than block me, because I'll never do that. I will never, ever walk away from someone like that. So, yeah, like, I would just rather than block me, because it's not going anywhere.
Yeah. Yeah, I think... Yeah, I'm trying to think if I blocked anybody. I've blocked people for different reasons, not a romantic relationship. I talked to all my exes apart from my last one, not my last one, the Australian one that I thought I was going to get married to.
Sorry, which one I missed that? The Australian one?
No, that's the one that his girlfriend told him to block me.
Oh, is that the Australian one?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you guys were together for 5 years. So that's the
only reason I don't talk to him. Yeah.
Yeah, I talk to all of my exes. Like, you need time apart for sure. Like, whether it be like 6 months or a year or whatever, because all feelings pass no matter who they are. But if they're constantly in your life, which is, I think, what's difficult with people with children, maybe not in your case, but
imagine getting over somebody. Oh no, don't worry, I have nobody to get over. Don't worry about that. But imagine being married to somebody and then having to get over them while have to keep constantly dealing with them because of children.
Yeah, that's what the difficult part is, because I think if you can have somebody not in your life, which is what I'm grateful when somebody blocks me, because I'm like, I don't need to see their face all the time. I don't need to see them online. I don't need to, because you can't move on. Whereas with these people, these breakups dragged on for so long, and then as soon as they blocked me, when we didn't talk for like 6 months, I was like, oh, they're completely out of my life now. And now we're in a space that we can be friends, and I'm no hard feelings because I feel so differently about them. But yeah, if you have someone in your life all the time, you're never going to move on. So I'm okay with the blocking, but not the ghosting. Because it depends the circumstances. I'm okay with my exes blocking me. I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
But standing someone up, ghosting if you're like dating someone and you just lose interest and you can't face breaking up with them is just the most coward. Like, at least with my boyfriends, they were trying to break up with me. They didn't just one day, like that guy, that is insane. That would drive me to hysteria.
Yeah, I was like, imagine I was 22. Like, I was like, so, I thought that I had something special, you know? Like, literally, he made me feel like we were the souls that met in the universe or whatever. And then he disappeared. I was like,
wow, I'd love to know if he is listening to this. Please reach out and let Dani know what she did. That you.
To be honest, I think that was just something that he did with girls. As soon as they wanted to try and actually do something more or be more serious, he would just go to the next one. I mean, I'm pretty sure he was sleeping with other women at the same time. At the time, I didn't think that, but now I think that's absolutely possible.
Yeah. What's your other story?
Oh, no, it's not that bad. Well, but as you're saying, like, you know, having a reason to break up. And when my Irish boyfriend said that, I was like, oh, okay, cool. That's definitely over. That was hard. And, you know, I'm just going to move on and whatever. But then I had a relationship that it was just dragged. It just dragged, and I thought it was pretty serious. But then the reason he broke up with me was, there's nothing wrong with you. I just don't think you're the one.
Oh my God. You know, I think it's quite funny because honestly, again, I think it's cruel to be kind, but you kind of almost have to hear these things, because my guys never said this to me. My guys were always just like, I care about you, but it's not going anywhere. And they never really gave me like a clear answer like that. And I think that's why it was easier for them to block me, because I didn't understand. But wow, that's ballsy.
But it was, as soon as he said that, and as soon as we were broken up, I was thinking, I was like, oh, I think I was actually settling for him. And he was probably settling for me as well, obviously. He was great. I miss his mom so much. I miss his mom more than I miss him. But I think I said that on the other podcast. I just don't want to be the ex that's still in touch with the family, you know? I find that so annoying. I hate that. So I don't want to be that person. But I love his mom. But as soon as we broke up and he said that, I saw how we were settling, how we were actually not meant to be together. But it was funny because how long after? I think maybe 4 months after, he came and see me where I was, and he stayed in my apartment, slept in my bed. We didn't even kiss or anything. And he was like, I thought that he came because he wanted to try and get back together. But he came to see if I was okay. He said that he felt really bad, and he wanted to make sure I was okay.
That's pretty sweet.
I mean, I don't know. I think he was just trying to get rid of his guilt conscience, you know, just to, I don't know.
Well, maybe, maybe he was, but I mean, at least he felt guilty. At least he had a conscience about it.
Fair point, yeah, that's fair point.
I mean, yeah, I appreciate the honesty. I think that's really brave of your exes to be so honest with you. I think that's pretty cool, to be honest, even though that must be so hard to hear. Like, I am so sensitive when it comes to relationships. Like, I am the strongest person when it comes to work, family, friends. I'm a psycho when it comes to relationships, and I take everything so personally. And if I was to hear those things, I'm just like, oh my God. I think that's why it's been so long since I've been in a relationship, because I'm just so sure it's going to end and I'm going to have to hear some awful feedback about myself, and I'm like, I just can't.
Yeah.
I can't. Wow.
I remember you're saying on the show, I don't take anything personally. I'm joking. I take everything personally.
Yeah. Literally I like to pretend I don't take things personally. I like to put up this hard front, but I will absorb everything. I get so offended so easily. But lucky enough, I haven't been. But you know what? I think part of the reason why I haven't really been ghosted and stuff is because I'm not really in the dating world. I don't really date. I don't really online date. And there's a mixture of like, it's not really my thing. And also I think because I don't live in obviously, like you've been yachting. And if you didn't have Lily, I'm sure or if you weren't in lockdown, I'm sure you'd start to online date or app date or whatever. But with being yachty, it just isn't really a thing. It is for a hookup, and I know some people who have met their partners on apps, but it's nothing like when you're living in London or Sydney and New York or anything where it's totally normal. It's not for us because, we'll turn up somewhere, you'll swipe right and you'll go out that night and hook up with someone, and then you leave the next day. I've never even really done that. I just can't be arsed, but
I think all the yachties, they end up having their hookups with all the yachties. You go to Antigua or whatever, and then you go to the bars where it's full of yachties.
Exactly.
And then you meet somebody and you have a hookup, and then you're like, okay,
we
bye.
don't really
need
to like be on apps because we just turn up in Antigua, like you said, go to the local yachty bar, and you can guarantee 90% of the people are single, ready to mingle, all your age. So it's back to the old school dating ways. But I think, and then you're not really ghosting because you're going your separate ways. So it's not like, again, you're living in London being like, oh, they're going to ask me out on a date or anything. Like in Antigua, the person's going to be like, well, I'm leaving next week. And you're like, oh, okay. And that's kind of the end of it. So I think, that's part of the reason why I haven't really experienced the whole being stood up or being ghosted. But, now that I'm 34, I'm going to start trying to date. So I'm going to have to keep track if anyone does it, because I think it's way more common in the app world because it's just so easy for people to do. They don't, if you introduce me to your friend, that person can't ghost me or stand me up because I'm going to be able to track them down. I'm like, damn, your friend's an asshole.
Well, I have to say, I had 3 Tinder dates in my life. That was the year I was living in Madrid.
I had 4.
I loved all of mine. I talked to the 3 of them. They're so sweet. And it's funny because I was in Madrid and there was one Irish guy, one Spanish guy, and one American guy. And I talked to the 3 of them and I had an amazing time. The American guy, he wins. He knows this. He wins as the best date I ever had.
Really?
Yeah. Because it was so unexpected.
You told me about this date. Tell everyone else. Tell me again.
Yeah, it's just like when we met on Tinder, and we went for a date. So we said, let's go for drinks. And I had 0 expectations. And we said drinks, especially, I think neither of us had any expectations. So we said drinks because then we can leave quickly if we don't like each other. And that was like, I don't know, 6 p.m., 7 p.m. You know how in Spain people have dinner really late anyways. And we met for drinks, and then we had tapas, and we really liked each other's company. We were having fun, and then we ended up going kind of like bar hopping and having a little bit of dinner and then drinking. And then it was like, I don't know, midnight or something. We decided to go clubbing, and then we went clubbing together. And so we ended up spending 12 hours together. We met at 6 p.m., and by the time I went home, it was 6 a.m. coming out of the club.
And why didn't anything happen with him?
Because he was actually so sweet, and I really like him. But he was just passing by Madrid. He works online, so he could work anywhere. So he was just traveling around. He's not even meant to stay in Madrid that long. He stayed in Madrid, I think, maybe a couple weeks, and he meant to stay a couple days or something. I can't remember. And he came back to Madrid after, but it was just hard, like it's the same thing as Lily agrees with me, It was just a thing of he's in America, I was in Madrid at the time, I wasn't sure what I was going to do with my life still.
I totally get that. I think that's why often people who live in villages or towns get married so young, because it's so easy. It's each other's families, the path you're going, whereas the lives we live, it's so transient. It's really difficult. You have to be seriously committed to you know, and especially as yachties, you often see like South Africans get with Kiwis and Irish get with, you know, Americans or whatever. And it's a huge commitment because, there's just so many things involved. And especially with dating, like, why is this American going to come to Madrid again just to see you? Like, you'd have to be a really special person to make an impact. Well, I've gone on 4 online dates. I think it's 4. And they've all been fine. But again, it was like I was bored. I remember meeting a guy in Ireland and I was literally leaving the next day. I did the same in New Zealand. I was leaving New Zealand the next day, but I was like on my own, had nothing to do. And I was like, fuck it, let's go for a date. So in my head straight away, I knew it was never going anywhere. But none of them were bad. No horror stories. I don't talk to any of them still, but yeah, no bad stories. I'm not even sure I may have kissed one of them. Oh no, one guy I was actually dating for about 6 weeks. I don't think it was going to go anywhere, but we were sleeping together while I was in Ireland. But yeah, I'm going to have to get back into it. I'm sick of being single, but I'm dreading it.
I cannot even think about going on a date. Like, I just, even if it wasn't locked down, even if I had the time, it's just like, I don't have brain power for it anymore.
Well, it takes a lot. It
does.
It's so energy consuming, time consuming. It's like and I've got friends who like are hardcore, want to find a relationship, and I have to give it to them. Like, and the sad thing is though, is they're like, it becomes a job. And I mean, fair play to them. They know what they want and they're out getting it, but you know, dating should be fun, and you kind of watch the movies and you're like, oh, that looks so fun. They're like, no, like you invest so much time into it, so much effort. So if you have anything else going on in your life, like if you're studying or starting a new job or have family issues or have a baby, I can totally get how you don't have the time, because these people, it's a full-time job. So they, you know, have to be very settled in their life to be able to find the time to commit to going on these dates. So I totally get how you would.
And even meeting somebody, you know, I read something the other day that was really funny. You have to spend time with somebody to find out if you want to spend more time with that person. And it's just like so draining. You have to, you know, imagine you meet somebody and you have a great first date, and then the second date's shit, and then it's like, oh fuck, then you start again, and then you meet somebody again, and it's just like,
I think that's what I'm kind of dreading. I'm like, because I usually date friends. I usually date guys that I've worked with or that I know, because I think that cuts all of the, like, I know that they're funny, I know that they come from a good family, I know their job, and that cuts out so much of the work, because I've known them for 6 months and then we start dating. But obviously none of them have worked out. And I think that's what I'm dreading, is exactly what you're talking about. That getting to know someone, that's so much effort. It was so easy for me to date these guys who were my friends. But yeah, I'm dreading it. You know nothing about them. Like,
I know. You know, one thing that never happened to me, I only had 3 dates, as I said, but like, imagine going to meet somebody and it doesn't look like the picture, like happens to a lot of people. Or they lied about, I don't know, a lot of things.
I was on Bumble. I'm in London at the moment. And I matched with this guy and we're like talking away. And he's like, do you want to go for a drink? And then he texts me being like, my friend said that I'm being catfished. Because my name is different on my Bumble. Because it takes my Facebook name. Because I want my Facebook to be private.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what do you mean? Blah, blah, blah. And he's obviously never watched the show. But his friend has watched the show. So I was like, well, your friend must know who I am. And he was like, no, she looked at your photo, said, you're being catfished, and walked away. So I had to prove to this guy that he's not being catfished and that I am actually Daisy Kelleher. And I had to like do all this stuff to prove to him. And I'm like, oh God, this is going to be my online dating now, where people are going to
my God, that's now the added layer for you, Daisy. You have to prove you're you because you're a celebrity now.
And he's obviously never heard of Blowjack, and he's like, what the fuck is this? Because it's not that big in the UK. So it was really, really funny. And I really enjoyed that his friend was just like, you're being catfished, and walked away. I was like, she was like, basically like, let's pretend I put my name as like Sally. He was like, her name's not Sally. I know what her real name is, and it's not Sally. But yeah, it was so funny.
You need to get on Raya.
I know they won't.
Yeah,
they won't accept me. It's really pissing me off.
What?
I don't know. They just.
What do you have to do?
I think it just keeps saying that they're waiting for my application. So I'm gonna have to wait and see when. Yeah, it's just like your application is currently on the wait list. You'll continually review our wait list, and it's been like that for months. So I don't know. Maybe they just don't like me.
What's your application?
It's literally like you have to give your Instagram handler, and you need to be approved by like, so I've got friends on Raya, so you need to be like your name put forward. So I did all that. I think it looks like I have a problem with it, but I don't know, we'll see. I don't really want, I think it's, you know, I will keep all my dating stories for you guys so I can let you know. But yeah, I cannot wait to leave. Guy who has asked me on a drink and straight away is like, oh, apparently I'm being catfished. So I'm like, this is going to be a glimpse into my future of me trying to. And anyway, I'm so paranoid that I don't look like my photos anyway. I'm always like,
oh, shut up.
But you never feel like that where I'm like, oh my god, because you obviously put up good photos and I'm like, oh, I'm not having a good day.
It's always a good angle. Yeah, always a good light.
And they're always being like, that's not what you look like in your photo. Like, people who catfish, fucking ballsy. Like, fair play to you. I don't even know.
No. Catfish and showing up and being like, hi, actually it's me. It's like, what?
I've heard so many of these stories, like people being way heavier than they are in their photos, looking complete. I think usually they are the person, but like way
I think men
younger.
lie a lot about height.
Yeah.
And women lie a lot about weight or something like that. I don't know.
I agree. But so ballsy. Like, I always try to put up like photos, which is actually funny because you get more likes if you're in a bikini shop, but I actually do it so they can see me what I look like in a bikini. So they don't.
So do you go for a drink with this guy, or are you gonna go for a drink with him?
I think we're gonna go for a drink. That's if he doesn't ghost me.
Ooh.
So I will keep you all updated.
I'm gonna live vicariously through you, Daisy.
I know. I need to start dating. I'm gonna be. I mean,
we need to do a live, and not public live, obviously, just me and you and Ali, and we can swipe right or left together.
Yes. Oh my gosh, I think that's a brilliant idea. We're gonna be shaming people. The bad.
We can even do an extra live and just hide their faces and just read their descriptions and go left and right. I think people would love that.
Yeah,
I would love that.
I think that's a great idea. We should do that and compare Sydney, Melbourne and London. London people are hot. I get a lot of matches, but it's really hard to get people to write back to you. But I think it's because I'm so boring. I'm literally like, hey, how's your day? So I think they're like, a match. I'm like, oh, awkward.
Oh, I am absolutely terrible at talking, at writing, terrible. I don't know how I met people, honestly. I'm so bad at it.
I hate it. I just want to go for a drink. This guy, we've actually chatted really easily, and we chatted for like a day, and he asked me for a drink, and it's kind of the exact way I'd want it to go. He's a bit younger though, so I mean, he's not going to be the love of my life. I'm not going to get married to him, let's be honest. I'm only like getting the confidence to go on a date. But
I hope you get married to him and we can show this video on your wedding day.
I know. No, he's way too young. But yeah, it's fun. You know, while I'm in London, you got to start somewhere. So yeah, I'm so sick of being single.
Go for it.
Yeah,
I would say download the other apps. Download Hinge. I heard that Hinge is really good, my friend.
Yeah, I go on Hinge as well. That's also really hard. I basically just hate talking to people. The swiping right bit's the easy bit.
What is the one that you pass by people?
I think that's Happen.
Happen, yeah.
I don't.
I
I've
think
never
Happen
been
is
in.
creepy. Because it's just like, oh, you just passed by this person. It's like, oh, really? Did I? That's weird.
I really hope, because honestly, the 4 dates I've been on, like you, I mean, they were great and nothing mind-blowing, but they were nice and they look like who they are. I am petrified of being ghosted or stood up What the fuck?
Or catfish.
Or catfish. This poor girl, like, got stood up. She was like, it's the first date I've ever been on. I'm really trying to, like, build my confidence. I'm like, who would do that to? Yeah, honestly broke my heart. Like, I think I'm strong enough and confident enough to be like, fuck you. I would literally go crazy. Oh.
Oh, no. She scratched herself.
Oh.
That's really pain cry.
Uh-oh. Oh, well, maybe that is cue for us to go.
Oh, meu amor.
Aww.
Tu passou.
Well, Dani, we will leave you go. Okay, I will leave Dani. I'm going to let her know. So I am going to leave Dani and Lily alone because they are crying. And yeah, so you guys, hope you enjoyed the podcast. And obviously, we always appreciate your stories. So DM us any crazy catfishing, ghosting. I love to hear it. I always know it makes everyone feel a bit better knowing that they're not alone. So yeah, hope you enjoyed it. And like I said, share your stories and we will see you guys next week. Bye.
Yes, please share stories. I want to hear them. Bye. See you, Daisy. Oh, that was a bit short.